What's happening, everyone? My name is Max. I'm a communication skills coach. What I do on this channel is I look at all different types of people's communication skills, including a bunch of Stray Kids content. Today, I'm going to be checking out Changbin and Han. I've done some Changbin, I've done some Han, but I haven't seen the two of them together. I'm looking forward to this. If I did have a favorite in the group, it might be Han and Changbin. Guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe. Lots more content to come. Thank you for being here. Let's dive into the video today.
와, 국물 그렇게 맛있대. 이게 계속 들어간대. 얘 너무 좋아하는 거야. 평냉 거리니까 작업할 때마다 평냉만 먹으러 가니까 난 거기서 항상 갈비탕이나 아니면 뭐 그런 딴 거를 먹었거든요. 근데 국물을 마지막에 살짝 들이켰는데 괜찮네. 근데 이게 아무 생각 없다가 갑자기 평냉이 땡기네. 아무 생각 없다가
이게 냉며든다 한다니까. 냉며들어.
진짜 깜짝 놀랐어. 그리고
It's funny seeing their different dynamics together, right? Because you see different people leading the conversation depending on who they're with. Something I noticed about Changbin, he's very observant, but he also articulates what he observes very well, very clearly, and he makes it a point to let other people know that he's speaking with what he observes.
너무 좋아하는 거야. 평냉 거리니까 작업할 때마다.
I think that's a great communication tactic, and I think that's actually a big part of Changbin's charm.
와, 국물 그렇게 맛있대. 이게 계속 들어간대. 얘 너무 좋아하는 거야.
Although, it seems like no matter who he's speaking to, he averts his eyes. I know eye contact is more of a cultural thing, but still, it does happen more consistently, the aversion of eye contact with Changbin, more than the other members I've noticed.
소리하지만 혀가 훨씬 엄청 길다. 이게 여기 있기 때문에 되게 고기 같을 거다. 그래서 딱 먹어봤는데 와, 진짜 계속 생각나는 그런 식감과 그런 맛. 진짜 중독성 강해요.
그래요.
진짜.
이거 진짜 보시는 분들 꼭 한번 도전해 보세요. 진짜 한 번 먹고 안 먹으면 되잖아요. 마음에 안 들면. 그렇죠?
I love Han, man. I love Han. I've talked about his charisma. I just love when he looks directly at the camera.
한 번 먹고 안 먹으면 되잖아요.
Like, that guy's got such an unbelievable charm and charisma about him. It's just very natural. Changbin's a great storyteller too, isn't he? Part of why he's good at telling a story is because he seems to really get into what he's talking about. Like, he emphasizes his words. I don't know Korean, but he emphasizes his words.
훨씬 엄청 길다.
It's funny because when I first saw Changbin, I thought he was actually on the quieter, more introverted side. I feel like Changbin actually becomes most talkative when he's one-on-one. The one-on-one conversations are more sincere. He can be real. He can showcase his actual genuine relationships with these guys.
창빈이 형이 엄청 심한 편이고 한이 형은 이제 몸이 피곤하거나 그러면 이제 조금씩 쉬어가면서 하는 편인데 창빈이 형은 몸이 피곤해도 운동은 절대 빼지 못한다. 약간 이런 주의여가지고
나는 끝까지 간다. 모든 걸 털어버린다.
그치.
그러니까 끝까지 간다라는 마음으로 헬스장을 가는 사람이고.
Yeah, and I like how expressive Changbin is.
그러니까 끝까지 간다라는.
He's very certain of himself. He's very certain of what he likes. He understands how his mind works. I think Han's actually like that too. I think these are actually two guys who seem to know themselves quite well.
했던 게 운동이었는데
어느 정도 그 목표치를 달성했고.
그치. 근데 내가 어느 순간 이게 돼버린 거야. 내가 어느 순간 작업보다 운동을 더 열심히 하고 있는 거야. 왜냐면 나는 내가 너무 만들고 싶은 게 많은데 너 몇 개 정도 만들어놨어. 근데 녹음을 안 해.
Was that reaction from Changbin like, whoa?
왜냐면
Was that a diss? Are you saying that I don't put enough effort into my music? I wonder if Changbin took that somewhat personally there.
만들어놨어. 근데 녹음을 안 해. 근데 왜냐면 이거 끝나고 운동을 가야 내가 그 다음날 무리를 안 하고 갈 수가 있어. 약간 그런 강박이 생겨버리니까 운동 1등이고 음악이 뒷전이 돼버린 거야. 그래서 난 그거에서 현타가 갑자기 왔어. 그래서
맞아.
그래서 갑자기 운동에 대해서 흥미가 확 떨어지고 일단
Okay, Changbin looks like he's coming around to understanding where Han's coming from here.
왜냐면 내가 이 영감의 원천이 언제 마를지 모르기 때문에 지금 이걸 다 쓰고 운동한다 해도 늦지 않을 것 같거든 나는. 그래서
맞아요.
지금은 음악에 또 열정하고 음악이 또 안 나올 때 그때 또 운동을 다시 시작하지 않을까 싶어.
다 핑계예요.
Never mind. I love how he can tease Han. Let's see how Han takes it.
핑계예요. 운동 싫어요.
뭔 말인지 알아요. 저도
Han can take a joke, and this is one of the reasons why so many people like Han, in my opinion, is because he doesn't take himself too seriously, and he's not married to his opinion or idea. And even if he still believes in that opinion or idea and someone disagrees with him, he doesn't need to go off defending it. And that is such a likable quality in someone, right? When we sense that their guard isn't up, when they're not defensive, we feel like we can be more open with them. Han really does, like I said before, Han really does know himself too. So I think these are two guys who know themselves well, and I think because of that, that allows for this healthy disagreement.
왜 상처를 받냐면 일단
얘기 다 얘기해줘.
피곤하거나 그럴 때 말투가 무서워. 이거 내가 잘못 건드리면 터질 것 같아. 가끔 예민할 때 무섭다.
요즘 들어 에피소드 있어?
요즘 들어 에피소드? 난 어제.
어제?
딱 어제.
아 내가 어제 피곤했지. 맞아 나 어제 녹아내렸지.
짜증내거나 그런 건 아닌데 내가
Yes, Changbin really is interested in what Han thinks about him.
얘기 다 얘기해줘.
He doesn't always show it as much as the other guys. Like I think Changbin's good at hiding that he cares about other people's opinion as much as he actually really does. I think he really does.
진짜 맞아요. 상대방을 바라보는 나 스스로를 못 되돌아본다니까. 그러니까 눈물이 좀 많고.
내가?
네.
그런가?
너 눈물 저한테 제 앞에서 많이 울었어요. 내가 울 때 뿌잉 울거든요.
To me, he's kind of like the big brother in the group. He's the confident, wise, all-knowing guy. You know, he certainly presents himself in that way. Maybe that plays into Changbin's mentality about like not necessarily admitting that he wants to hear what they think about him.
말이에요. 그리고 단 것 막 먹을 때 되게 귀여워요. 단 거 막 챙겨가지고 단 거 막 먹고 막 여기 입에 묻히고
아 근데 나는 고치려고 해도 이게 먹고 나면 그냥 생각이 맛있었다 하고 끝난다니까.
그래
이게.
이런 부분 되게 단순하게 살아요. 저는 되게 복잡한 스타일인데 너 되게 단순하게 잘 생각하고 이런 상황에서 막 어디
So
휘둘
there he goes again, kind of breaking down Han and his thought patterns.
되게 단순하게 잘 생각하고 이런
Right, so again, he's like, he does that. He'll explain other people's behaviors and thought patterns for them in front of them. I think Han responds well to that. I think Han likes knowing that he's understood because Han's a more complex guy as well. So when you get a guy who you feel like can understand you, you probably feel pretty close to that person. You feel connected to them in some way.
지 않고 너랑 얘기를 하다 보면은 생각보다 내가 복잡하게 생각했던 것들을 약간 솔루션이 다
But I do think there is something more to Changbin's eye contact as opposed to just a cultural thing. You know, I wonder if he just doesn't want to give too much emotionally to the guys, or if it's just too much for himself to handle emotionally. I do wonder if it's a way for Changbin to protect himself in some way.
근데 너 되게 단순하게 잘 생각하고 이런 상황에서 막 어디 휘둘리지 않고 너랑 얘기를 하다 보면은 생각보다 내가 복잡하게 생각했던 것들을 약간 솔루션이 다 간단해. 그런 부분들에서 좀 좋은 점을 배우죠. 제 입장에서는.
That's a nice thing to say.
그러면 둘 다 되게 과묵해졌어. 좀 생각이 되게 많았어. 작년 올해 사이에.
That's really nice. Changbin is the master of compliments. This is actually a cool formula we can take away for complimenting and connecting and relationship building. Say something specifically that you like about the person, something positive, and then take that positive and attribute it to your life.
부분들에서 좀 좋은 점을 배우죠.
And I think there's just sort of a double meaning that has on the person you're speaking with. So Changbin really, because of his observational awareness and his ability to think in these more emotional, complex ways, allows him the gift to compliment really, really well.
옛날 연습생 때는 똑같았어요.
비슷했지.
진짜 비슷했고 항상 대칭 날개.
맞아.
우리가 항상 날개 역할을 했었거든요.
맞아.
지금은 한이는 제가 못 따라해요. 그 빠름과 그런 느낌들. 선이 이쁘고 되게 날렵한 그런 스타일인데 저는 그러지 않거든요. 뭉툭하잖아요. 선도 그렇고. 그래서
Changbin's like a grandfather, like always reminiscing. Like the guy has an amazing memory. It's always like just spitting out facts from the past.
느낌이 좀 무겁고
대신 힘있지.
네, 그러니까 조금 끈적이고 그러니까 그런 게 있죠.
맞아,
그래서
끈적여.
둘이 진짜 스타일이 다른데 그래서 제가 못하는 걸 얘가 하는 거죠. 그러니까 곡마다 좀 어울리는 게 다른 것 같아요.
맞아.
Yeah, Changbin's really smart, man. He's really smart. Like the more I watch him, the more impressed I am with him. He just seems to understand the guys, and I'd imagine with a good amount of accuracy. He speaks very confidently about them.
한이는 제가 못 따라해요.
There's got to be something addictive about being around a guy like that who speaks highly of you, but seems to know you sometimes better than you know your damn self. There's something cool about that because it's like, man, I feel understood every time I hang around this guy. It feels good being understood.
굉장히 가벼워질 때가 있거든. 그래서 가사를 한두 번, 세네 번 갈아치운 적도 굉장히 많아. 그리고 그 아이디어가 진짜 애들 얘기하는 거 보면 뭐 지성이 천재다, 뭐 비하인드에서 지성인 천재다 뭐 이러는데 나는 형이 천재 같아.
나도 나의 천재 같아. 장난이고.
아니 진짜.
장난이고.
I gotta say, when Changbin was listening to Han, he was listening, but he wasn't doing your typical sign of listening. I don't think Changbin looked at Han once. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It's just interesting that that's how he takes in information. And I wonder if making eye contact distracts him from taking in that information as well. Let me think about that. But I'm surprised because oftentimes looking at people's facial expressions can really give us a sense of who those people are or how they're feeling in the moment, I should say.
스타일이 있는데 나는 이제 우리가 또 아이돌이고 뭔가 다양한 컨셉들도 하고 이러다 보니까 그런 부분들이 있어서 너한테 본받는
Like you'd think maybe Changbin was a little cocky at first because it's like, why isn't this guy looking at me? Why isn't he paying attention to me? But the irony is he really is paying attention. Now more than anyone it seems like he's paying attention.
가끔가다 그런 게 필요할 때가 있어. 아 나도 저런 거 좀 필요한데 하면서도 그러니까 또 해보면은 나랑 또 안 어울리구나 하면서 조금 그런 것들이 너 덕분에 좀 도전을 하게 되는 그런 게 있지. 사실 팀 내에서 저는 개인적으로 표정이나 그런 무대 위에서 날아다닌다는 느낌을 제일 주는 거는 한이에요.
I really like the two of these guys together, and he seems to really appreciate Han. And as a result, Han seems to really be latching on to every word Changbin says and really appreciating Changbin. Han has no problem returning the favor too. Because he delivers such heartfelt compliments and such meaningful, detailed, unique compliments.
가끔가다 그런 게 필요할 때가 있어.
There's a vulnerability aspect to when Changbin talks about you because he's admitting that he really admires you, he really watches you, right? So there's a great vulnerability around that.
그것도 있어. 방금 현진이 말한 것처럼 한이가 진짜 그런 애 같은 모습 진짜 많은데 심지어 옛날에는 더 심했잖아.
맞아.
근데 지금은 예전에 비해 엄청 성숙해진 건데 그 성숙해진 것도 사실 창빈의 역할이 꽤나 컸던 것 같아. 창빈이도 많이 이제
그치.
한이를 이제 이것저것 알려주기도
돌봐줬지.
했고.
These guys are incredible, aren't they? They're incredibly observant, they're incredibly emotionally deep. You know, they've got a lot of intelligence and a lot of wisdom for such a young age. It really is impressive.
되게 그냥 마냥 동생 같았다. 지금은 그러니까 마냥 동생은 아니야. 또 형 같을 때도 있고. 그래가지고 사랑 받을 줄 알아. 그리고 생각보다 제 사랑을 별로 갈구하지 않아.
맞아.
별로 갈구하지 않아.
The master of compliments. The master of compliments. We should have a compliment counter when we're watching Changbin do these two kid room episodes.
어차피 사랑 많이 받으니까 주변에서 많이 주변 사람들 꼬이는 스타일이야 너도. 네가 그런 걸 좀 피곤해하는 스타일이지만
한이한테 되게 가혹해.
맞아.
한이한테 되게
It's funny they just said that. I think it was Sungmin that said that Changbin's kind of harsh with Han, but he's being the opposite right now. I think Han just embracing his uniqueness gives people the space to be themselves. And that's a very likable quality, right? It's easy being around those types of people who you don't feel judged by. I think that's part of Han's likability, in addition to his charm and his charisma and his humor.
내가 피하면 진짜 널 싫어하는 줄 알았구나.
아 그때는 오기였지. 오냐 한번 끝까지 해보자. 그거였지. 내가 방송에 말했는데도 안 할까? 약간 요런. 그러니까 머리 쓴 거지 그때는. 막 그때는 사랑을 많이 갈구하던 시기였어 내가. 단체 생활이 너무 흥미롭고 재밌다 보니까 이곳에서 나도 뭔가 중심의 어떤.
I love how Han expresses himself too, right? Showing some vulnerability here.
그때는 사랑을 많이 갈구하던 시기였어 내가.
And that's just not an easy thing to say. It comes so naturally off the tongue for guys like Han. You know, when we're able to be vulnerable, like actually vulnerable, and talk about our insecurities in this way, that only enhances our connection with the people that we're speaking to and with other people watching us.
지금 중심 됐지 그런 분위기 메이커도
Yeah, the life of the
일단
party.
얼굴로는 내가 다 씹어 먹었으니까.
그렇지. 씹어 먹었지. 그래서 한이와 창빈이는 무슨 관계다 하면 그렇게 대답을 하잖아.
그렇지.
그럼 우리가 한번 유추해서 한번 대답해 보자.
우린 무슨 관계일까?
Changbin loves playing these types of games. You know, he's often like in control of the conversation. He dictates the pace of the conversation. And I think his way of gaining control is through demonstrating his understanding of the person or the people he's speaking with.
안 오글거리거든. 뭔가 마음에 와 다 그러면.
아, 얘랑
근데
진짜
난가
못하겠어요, 진짜.
형이랑 같이 있는데 우린 진짜 형제 같아. 이런 거 하기 진짜 너무 오글거려 내가. 기다려봐. 아 뭐라고 해야 되냐. 그래서 머리에 떠오르는 건 형제밖에 없어. 근데 지금 다른 걸로 제발 표현하고 싶어.
Part of why I love Han too. It's just how animated he gets.
제발 표현하고 싶어.
He doesn't constrict or contain himself. He's just animated and he gets into his thoughts and he embraces his quirks. And then you got cool, calm Changbin.
그런 분위기 메이커도 되고.
You know, you don't see him really having these outbursts. He's more controlled. He's more relaxed. So it's an interesting dynamic seeing the two of these guys together.
자, 사진 찍고 끝내자. 하나, 둘, 셋. 아, 진짜 옆에서 이런 거 하는데 진짜 싫다. 형 진짜. 아니 서로 이런 거 있는.
Han gets cringed out by the cute stuff with Changbin, huh? I wonder why.
빼버리면 내가 뒤에는 의미가 없어.
둘 다 비슷해 얼굴 크기는.
해봐. 이 정도 나와야지.
I think these two might be my two favorites. It doesn't need to be this like overly flirty, cute relationship for them to demonstrate their love for one another. This is like, to me, a real mature relationship, the two of them, with a lot of mutual respect. Guys, as always, if you want to watch my uncut reaction and analysis, all you need to do is click on my Patreon link below. Other than that, my name is Max. I will catch you soon. Peace.